So Luke chapter 2 verse 1, and it came to pass in those days that a decree, now Mary is pregnant now, and Joseph is still taking care of the family, just waiting for Jesus' birth. And it came to pass, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This census first took place while Quirinius was governing Syria. So all went to be registered, every one to his own city. So this is a Roman Empire, the Roman Empire, and Caesar said, I want to count everyone in the empire. I want everyone to be counted. So every person had to go back to their hometown, the city of their birth or their lineage. And verse 4, it says, now Joseph and Mary, I believe, were living in Nazareth at the time. And so they went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem. Now the prophets already told us that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, but no one expected it to be so subtle, well, I'll just read it and you'll see what I mean. Because he was in the house of the lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed wife, who was with child. Now the King James says she was great with child. And this is interesting because nothing went like you would expect it to go. Mary was pregnant with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I mean, the angel even said he's going to be a king. He's going to sit on the throne of his father David, and of his kingdom there will be no end. So obviously she knows she's going to have a king. She's going to give birth to the Messiah. And so while she's waiting, and she's almost, she's almost due. And this decree comes out, no cooperation from the Roman government. They said, you've got to go back to your hometown. And so they have to go to Bethlehem. They live in Nazareth. It's 65 miles from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Doesn't sound like much today with nice luxury cars and interstate highways. But in those days, it was a dirt road, and she was going to ride on a donkey. It took 3 days or more to get from Nazareth to Bethlehem on a donkey. That's traveling 20 miles a day. And you could just imagine what a young woman would feel like when they're great with child and they get this this command, this decree. Now you got to ride a donkey for the next 3 days to go to Bethlehem. It's like, man, that would not be pleasant. Now I've never ridden a donkey when I'm, pregnant. There's a few reasons why. But those of you who have been pregnant, how would you like to ride a donkey for 3 days at 8.5 months pregnant? I mean, what a deal. It's like, and yet all of these things were in God's control. The Messiah had to be born in Bethlehem. Now, God could have told them, just go to Bethlehem for the birth. He could have had maybe a room ready for them, and maybe a hospital, and a midwife or a doctor, and he could have had everything just laid out and rolled out the red carpet for this prophecy to come to pass, but he didn't. It's like it just happened. They would have had the baby in Nazareth, except Caesar commanded them to go to Bethlehem. So she's got to ride a donkey for 3 days when she's at least 8 months pregnant. And then they finally get to Bethlehem, and there was no rooms because everyone had to come back. And they must not have gotten there soon enough to get a room. So now it's even worse. You've just ridden 3 days on a donkey. You're tired, you're dirty, you're pregnant, and there's no room. And so it's like, where are the fringe benefits from giving birth to a king? Is there no, where's that angel? If Gabriel would just come back, maybe he could pull some strings or get me a room. I mean, I'm not just going to give birth, I'm going to give birth to the king. Well, Jesus was unlike any king that we've ever seen or ever will see. He was the servant king, and he came humble and lowly, and he was born in a stable because that's the way God wanted it. God never ceases to amaze me. The way he does things is so unlike what we would think or we would do. And so they couldn't get a room, but they were, I mean, think about this. They look all over town for a room, and finally some guy says, look, I have a barnyard back there. Make yourself at home. There's hay and animals and all the eggs you can eat, chickens, cows, I mean, that's the best we can do. I mean, nobody offered to give her their room. Nobody offered to let her sleep on their couch. I mean, it was like you can go stay in a stable. Unbelievable. I could just imagine my mom, if she was pregnant and she had to ride 3 days on a donkey and gets to this destination. She didn't want to go there to begin with, and there's no room. And she's got to go stay in the barnyard with the animals. And it goes on to say that Jesus was born and laid in a trough. A trough. That's not even sanitary. And so anyway, amazing. It's just amazing, the Christmas story, the birth of Jesus, the love that God has for humanity. He came into this world saying, I'm not better than you. I'm not up here and you're down here. I'm not going to be detached. I'm one of you. And I'm going to be born in a place that none of you would even want to be born in. He was not afraid to go to the wrong side of town or the other side of the tracks, or however you want to say it. He is a king of the people for sure. And so she brought forth, this is verse 7, she brought forth her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger. And that word is literally a feed trough, because there was no room for them in the inn. And so that's where the king was born. Oh my goodness, born and laid in a feed trough and wrapped in swaddling clothes. And all the manger scenes.